In the heart of 1925, a vision began to take shape in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. A vision fueled by a love for the game of golf, a passion for bringing people together, and a dream that would stretch through time. It was the middle of the roaring 20s and a decade of national celebration with a wave of prosperity. In the 20s, women won the vote, flappers wore short skirts and makeup, and people danced the night away to jazz music. Though prohibition was in effect, alcohol was available at speakeasies and private clubs. In 1925, Calvin Coolidge was president, the National Broadcasting Company, and the Grand Ole Opry began. Writer F. Scott Fitzgerald penned The Great Gatsby, which would help define popular culture. It was a time of progress, creativity, and leisure. And in the midst of it all, a country club was born. Throughout the 1800s, a railroad connected upstate Delaware and Pennsylvania to Rehoboth, with train tracks running down the middle of Rehoboth Avenue, bringing the first influx of tourists to the area. The Henlopen Hotel on the boardwalk was constructed, and the city was incorporated, leading to Rehoboth Beach becoming a summer resort. But the biggest change was yet to come. In 1925, a paved road was completed between Georgetown and Rehoboth, linking the town to other roads leading from Washington, D.C. Soon, diplomats and government officials discovered the area as a vacation spot, and Rehoboth became known as the nation's summer capital. It wasn't just the wealthiest folks who traveled to those new roads. Henry Ford's Model Ts were being mass-produced at the affordable price of $290, and car ownership soared. Many of these recreational drivers were heading to Rehoboth, where their families enjoyed the beautiful beach and boardwalk. That same year, the original golf course of Rehoboth Beach, located in what was then Rehoboth Heights, was designed by Francis Warner, former president of the Golf Association of Philadelphia. Although it would be 3 more years before the clubhouse was completed, the 65-acre property containing the golf course was the beginning of Rehoboth Beach Country Club. As the first decade ended, the exuberance and optimism of 1925 had given way to the next, more challenging time in the life of the club, the city, and the nation. As the Great Depression continued, savings were being wiped out, farms decimated, and businesses were closing. Bankruptcies and despair were rampant, as were unemployment and hunger. The carefree joy of the 20s was a distant memory. It would take another 7 years for the country to pull out of these hard times, and the following years had troubles of their own as the U.S. entered World War II. So what was going on at Rehoboth Beach Country Club during this time? Membership in those days was $30 for a family with no initiation fees and stock purchase optional. Golf, dinners, and other social events continued to boost the spirits of members and guests. With the arrival of the Second World War in 1941, life again changed for the club, the city, and the nation. Food and gas were strictly rationed, and people would receive coupons to exchange for those precious items. Those cars that had brought automobility to so many were now driven much less. This made getting to the country club a real problem for the members, which in turn presented a bigger issue. Would the club meet its $33,000 budget for the year? But then, an ingenious solution was found. The club hired farmers' horses and Conestoga wagons to transport the members to and from the course. This decision resulted in the club meeting its budget and a push towards 100 years. And now, in 2025, we stand at the threshold of 100 years. A century of tradition, growth, of challenges faced, and triumphs celebrated. From the elegance of the 20s to the dynamic offerings of today. Over the years, at the heart of the club was a simple idea, a place for connection. Connection, whether it's over dinner and dancing, where the highway meets the train tracks, or on the back of a Conestoga wagon,